step right up, folks. Gather round, take a look inside. And remember, things aren't always as they seem. Welcome to the Phantomette Freak Show.
Oftentimes, people say to me, Lindsay, you're so brave. I don't know how you're not scared staying at these insanely haunted, creepy, abandoned, dilapidated, smelly, ghost-ridden locations. They say, I can never do that. I would be too scared. And the truth is, I do get scared. I just always pack an extra pair of underwear, just in case. Because happens. Fear. It's that wonderful little survival mechanism that kicks in when your brain decides, hey, maybe let's not get eaten by a tiger today. Except now, instead of tigers, we've got haunted houses, creepy dolls, and ghosts who apparently have nothing better to do than whisper your name at 3 a.m. Today we're diving into the science of fear, why it exists, and here's the spicy part, how it's connected to ghost hunting and the paranormal.
Spoiler alert!
A lot of what we think is paranormal might just be our brains doing a little trolling. So let's get spooky and scientific. Alright, here's the deal. Fear starts in this tiny walnut-sized area in your brain called the amygdala. Think of it as your personal alarm system. It scans your surroundings 24/7, looking for threats, like the shadow in the corner of your room that looks like a demon, but is just a pile of clothes that you've been meaning to put away for the past week. When your amygdala thinks you're in danger, it flips the switch, and your fight or flight response kicks in. Your heart races, your palms get sweaty, your knees are weak. No, not mom's spaghetti. Just your body getting ready to survive. Now here's where it gets fun. The paranormal thrives on fear. Ghost hunters, like myself, walk into dark, creepy places already hyped up. So our amygdalas are working overtime. Every creak, shadow, or gust of wind feels like proof of the supernatural because your brain is primed to expect danger. So maybe it's not a ghost, maybe it's just your brain being dramatic. So why do ghosts and fear go hand in hand? Turns out fear makes your senses go into overdrive. Your brain's like,
all right, team, we're not dying tonight. Stay sharp.
You start noticing every little sound, flicker of light, or shift in temperature. It's great for surviving in the wild, but in a haunted house with a backstory that's straight out of a horror movie, it turns into full-blown paranoia. Ever hear a random knock in the middle of the night and your brain's like, yep, that's a ghost for sure? Here's where the plot thickens. A lot of what we think are ghostly encounters can actually be explained by science. Let's talk about infrasound, the low-frequency sound waves that you cannot hear but you can feel. These waves make you feel uneasy, anxious, paranoid, dizzy. It can cause headaches, nausea, blurred vision, vomiting, resonance of internal organs, which basically means you can feel your organs vibrating, impaired balance, difficulty speaking, and even full-blown hallucinations. Wow, I just sounded like a commercial for literally any medication ever.
Infrasound, now available for you in this lovely 1800s Victorian mansion. Side effects may make you feel uneasy, anxious, paranoid, dizzy. It can cause headaches, nausea, blurred vision, vomiting, resonance of internal organs, which basically means your organs are vibrating, impaired balance, difficulty speaking, and even full-blown hallucinations.
It's worth it.
Guess where you find infrasound? In old, creepy buildings with creaky pipes and bad wiring. It's no secret that some well-known profitable haunted locations want to keep the hauntings consistent because let's be real, ghosts don't always come out on cue. Over the years, there has been haunted locations that have been caught doing crazy things like quite literally putting speakers in the wall to make you think you're hearing something that's paranormal. Imagine how easy it would be to fake a haunting by using infrasounds. I want to remind you guys that this video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not claiming this to be a fact, but it's interesting because I've had this theory before, and while doing some digging, it seems like some other people have the same suspicions. While looking at some reviews for the haunted museum in Las Vegas, it seems like some other people have the idea that there might be infrasound in the building. I obviously can't confirm if this is true or not, and if it does exist in the building, whether or not it's there accidentally, unknowingly, or on purpose. Can't prove that either, but the amount of nosebleeds, people passing out, and having really, really intense experiences is unusually high. People love being scared. It's weird, but it's true. Take it from me. Fear triggers a release of adrenaline and dopamine, basically your brain's way of giving you a high while you're freaking out. That's why some people go ghost hunting in the first place. When you're wandering through a haunted asylum at 2 a.m., your heart's pounding, your senses are heightened, and your brain's going,
This is it. We're gonna die.
but you don't die. And in the end, you feel relieved and weirdly exhilarated. And it's like a roller coaster, except instead of loops, you got creaky doors and cold breezes. Fear also makes people more likely to believe in the paranormal. When you're scared, your brain starts filling in the blanks. You hear a weird noise, must be a ghost. Feel a cold spot, definitely a spirit. Your brain wants to make sense of the unknown, and if you're already spooked, it'll jump to the scariest conclusion possible. That's why so many ghost hunters swear they've seen or heard something. It's not that they're lying, speaking for certain people only, but their brains are working overtime to connect the dots when there's no real pattern. I am 1,000% guilty of this. As one of my favorite YouTubers once said,
she seems to take everything as a ghost, and I'm not sure if she actually thinks that or is doing it for a video.
I agree sometimes I overanalyze a situation when I'm scared as alone inside a haunted location, but that's what our brains do naturally. So I have been making it a point to make sure I look into every piece of potential evidence in the moment instead of jumping so quickly to conclusions. Fear makes you hyper aware, but it also makes you really bad at logic. It's like, yeah, I know that shadow is just a coat on the chair, but what if it's actually a demon who wants to take my soul? Classic overthinking. All right, let's address the elephant, or should I say ghost in the room. Not everything can be explained away by science or fear. There are countless stories and documented evidence of paranormal activity that defies logic. I myself, over the years, have experienced things that have zero explanation. It's like burning.
You have like a red streak like that.
Do I really?
Yeah, like it's forming right now.
I can't make any sense of that. Maybe, like, is there an energy stuck in this spot? This is actually...
There's something in the attic, but it's just like something like a dust thing, like waving. You're fucking kidding me. Take, for example, the Enfield poltergeist story. This wasn't just one person hearing weird noises. An entire family claimed their house was haunted. Furniture moved by itself, objects flew through the air, and people reported strange voices.
Days before that, I did. I went blind. Then I had an hemorrhage, and I fell asleep, and I died in a chair in the corner downstairs.
Even skeptical investigators walked away scratching their heads. Science has no solid explanation for stuff like that. Here's where the lines blur. A lot of paranormal skeptics argue that fear warps our perception. And yeah, fear can mess with your brain. Things like infrasound, sleep paralysis, or even carbon monoxide poisoning can make you think your house is haunted. But not everything fits into that neat little box. There are people who aren't scared at all and still experience the paranormal. Take ghost hunters, for example. These people are out there in the pitch black in basements, fully prepared for spooky activity. Snacks ready, camped out, chillin', and still encounter things that defy logic, like, for example, EVPs or electronic voice phenomena. Who's making all the noise? Fear isn't always the driving factor here. Sometimes people are calm, curious, and still end up face to face with something that they cannot explain. Let's talk about those moments where it's not just fear, it's real. You know, the kind of experiences that leave even skeptics saying, yeah, there's something going on here. For instance, take near-death experiences. Many people have experienced seeing similar things, such as bright lights, a feeling of leaving the body, meeting deceased family members, and even seeing things that are happening at that moment in a completely different room. I don't know if you've ever seen the Netflix show Surviving Death, but there are some incredible, beautiful, mind-bending stories on there. So, scientists chalk it up to brain activity during trauma. But here's the thing. Some of these stories include information the person couldn't have known, like conversations that were happening in a different room at the time of the near-death experience. Then there's physical evidence from haunted locations, like some of the best-known haunted locations like Myrtle's Plantation, the Stanley Hotel, or even Eastern State Penitentiary, have consistent reports and documentation of strange, unexplained activity. We're talking footsteps in empty halls, doors slamming on their own, people showing up in pictures who weren't even there, and moving shadows that defy physics caught on camera.
Hope you guys say something or do something. Oh my God! No! Oh.
Can fear explain all that? Probably not. Also, speaking of footsteps in empty hallways, check out this clip of that exact thing that happened to me while I was on the Queen Mary.
You understand?
Oh, there's actually someone coming.
Not all ghostly experiences are scary. Some people describe peaceful or even comforting encounters, a loved one passing through to say goodbye, or a strange warmth in an otherwise cold room. The night my dad passed away, I woke up and saw a shadow figure standing at the end of my bed, and the only way I can describe it is I was feeling his emotions. I was feeling this intense emotion of surprise and sorrow, but also this strange wave of peace. These aren't fear responses. They're deeply emotional and sometimes even uplifting. Fear has no place here because these moments don't trigger fight or flight. They just feel real. That's why the paranormal can't always be dismissed as just fear. It's not always about adrenaline and shadows. Sometimes it's about connection, something science hasn't quite figured out how to measure yet. Now let's talk about intuition. Science gives intuition a very grounded explanation. Our brains are processing millions of bits of information every second, but we're only conscious of a tiny fraction of it. Intuition is when your subconscious picks up patterns, body language, or environmental clues, so subtle that you don't even realize it. Have you ever had that split second knowing something was about to happen, and it turns out you were right? Science claims that's your brain doing detective work at lightning speed, faster than you can think. Kind of sounds like built-in brain AI. Are ghosts AI? We'll get into that in another video. In the spiritual world, intuition is seen as something much deeper, like a connection to an energy beyond what we can see or measure. Some call it a sixth sense or downloads. Others might call it a message from spirit guides or the universe itself. Think about how you can walk into a room and feel the tension. I'm talking about like really physically feeling it with your body. Or maybe even sense somebody's intentions without them even saying a word. I don't know about you, but I've gotten incredibly good at that. Countless real-life stories give us chills when we think about intuition's power. People avoid accidents because of a gut feeling. Ghost hunters following a pole to investigate a certain spot and end up finding evidence, or even moments of life-saving clarity with no logical explanation. These experiences are too specific to be luck. So whether you see intuition as biology, spirituality, or both, there's no denying its power. And you want to know what the best part is? You can actually sharpen it. Meditation, mindfulness, and simply paying attention to those subtle feelings can help you unlock your intuition even more. If you want more information on that, by the way, I highly recommend the books The Power of Now and The Art of Living. I'll add the links in the description below. Whether it's fear, spirits, or a mix of both, ghost hunting reminds us that there's still a lot that we do not know. Maybe that shadow in the corner isn't just a pile of clothes. Maybe the voice on the spirit box isn't just static. And maybe, just maybe, the paranormal isn't as far-fetched as we think. Sure, fear heightens our senses, but sometimes it reveals things we wouldn't notice otherwise. And maybe that's the beauty of paranormal. It's just unknown enough to keep us guessing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. Until next time. Is it possible that ghosts are AI?
It's an intriguing idea. If you think about it, the concept of ghosts being AI would suggest there's some kind of programmed consciousness or residual energy left behind, operating in a way similar to a system following set rules. Maybe they replay moments of their life like a looped code or respond intelligently to stimuli